This is TWiT.
All right, what we really need is technology that watches us sleep every single night. Maybe watches is actually the wrong word when we're talking about the technology that's inside the Google Nest Hub Generation 2. But Ryan Whitwam reviewed this device for Android Police, and Ryan is here to share his thoughts on it. Welcome back to the show, Ryan.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you, lucky guy, got to have this device in your room watching you sleep every single night. I realize I keep saying watching, but that's not actually true because there's no camera on this device, right? How is it doing this?
So it uses Soli, which is the same radar technology that Google used in the Pixel 4 to do the motion sense gestures that, kind of didn't, work super well. It works better on the hub. The sleep sensing is really accurate. It's as accurate as any wearable sleep monitoring device that I've used. And it's nice that you don't have to worry about charging something or wearing it at night. I'm very uncomfortable with things on my wrist while I'm sleeping. So I was kind of excited theoretically for this device. Google says that it's going to give you all these insights into your sleep and it's going to help you do, X, Y, and Z better. And I've only been using it for about a week and a half. I haven't seen any suggestions that really lead me to believe that this is going to change the way I sleep. But it is accurate. And from a technical standpoint, that's impressive. It's doing this with radar. And it's not constructing an image with the radar.
Right.
It has a spectrograph and it just uses machine learning to crunch the numbers and figure out what it means. So it can tell when you are in bed, when you fall asleep. It can track your breathing. It uses the microphones on the hub to listen for snoring and coughing. So that kind of stuff could be useful to people who have breathing issues at night. But Google seems to they want to charge for this. They're very uncertain about how they're doing it. They wouldn't tell us exactly what they have in mind. But for the rest of the year, at least, it is free. And after that, it might be part of some sort of paid subscription. Or just a standalone subscription. I don't know. The device itself is $99, and I feel like a $99, slightly better smart display than the last hub that also can track your sleep. That's not bad for $100. But if then you want me to pay monthly on top of that for the sleep tracking, I don't think that it is unique enough that I would want to do that.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the concerns that I've had on this. Is it seems like. And maybe this is an an unreal expectation, but we've all gotten very used to a lot of services like this being free, especially from companies like Google that can afford the overhead and, they're fine to shoulder the cost of it. Doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I think I just kind of found it a little interesting that they decided, no, this thing will be a fee-based monitoring system. Meanwhile, we have phones that we could do this with and not pay the fee. What is a cost that you think would be fair for a service? I don't know, is that $2 a month, $3 a month? I'm not even quite sure.
So Google just finished their Fitbit acquisition. And Fitbit has a premium health service, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was bundled in with that at some point. I don't recall off the top of my head how much that is. I feel like it's maybe, probably $5 or $10 a month. But I think probably you wouldn't be able to find many people who would tell you that because I bet nobody's using it.
Yeah, looks like $9.99 per month for Fitbit Premium.
Yeah, that seems like a lot unless you're really into fitness. Maybe, right. I don't know. Maybe if you add sleep tracking to that, more people would buy it. But I don't think that's super useful to me. I also have problems with the hub because I have dogs, and it turns out it can't tell the difference between a person and a dog. Which makes sense when you think about how the device works. It doesn't see anything. It doesn't know what a person looks like. It's just looking for something that is roughly the size of a human, or at least part of a human, and breathes. It's the breathing apparently that triggers the presence sensing.
So your dog Egon, you mention and show pictures of your dog in the article, and your body double, in other words, your dog.
Yeah, right.
So what was the impact that Egon had on your results? Was it just like you were sleeping at 3 p.m., which you actually weren't?
he gets in bed like before I do, and then when I get up, he'll like hop up in the bed for a little while longer. So I actually have a screenshot in the review if you go forward a little bit there. So it thinks that I was in bed for like 13 hours and that I slept for 10 hours because at both ends there's that like the dog just slept for like an hour in the bed, and it just logged that as me. Unfortunately, there's no way to say like, no, most of this was me, but this part wasn't. So you can delete the whole day. That's all you can really do. So that's kind of a bummer. I mean, I don't want to like shoo the dogs away from my bed. But I also found that the other one that is in that picture, he also triggers the sleep sensing. He's a little bit smaller, but still, apparently large enough.
Yeah, like maybe if there was a way to, I like how you're digitally petting the dog there, John. Good move. If there was a way to set kind of like off hours, like don't worry about anything that ends up in the bed in the afternoon, because like I'm just not a napper, so that's not going to be sleep, whatever you think it possibly is. For the real data, hungry people who want to quantify themselves to that degree, that might actually, be an important caveat, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you just want like a lot of personal data, like you just love, digging into your own stats, then this device could be super fun to play with. And I mean, for $100, it's a better version of the hub that Google already sold. I mean, it has more microphones. It's a little bit faster. It's not, it's not lag free. The display is still not super fun to use for a long period of time, but I can tap things, and I'm pretty confident that it will recognize that I've tapped them. Whereas with the old display, it was kind of like, did it see that? Should I tap this again? There's less of that with the new one. So I mean, I think even just for that, it's worth getting. And the MSRP it's $50 lower than the last one. I think in reality, it probably is going to be maybe $10 more if you go and buy it at retail right now, just because the old one went down so much in price after release. But right. I think this one will get cheaper too. And I mean, I'm sure there will be promotions. There will be like 2 packs that cost less, and you would actually need 2 of them if you sleep in a bed with another person and you both want to track your sleep. It's only able to follow a single individual. It's just like a little radar bubble that extends a couple of feet from the display. So you would a 2-pack actually seems like a really good idea. I'm surprised Google doesn't already have that.
Yeah, and then link them together for stereo speakers. Even though you mentioned the speakers on the device aren't the best in the world, but that's kind of like not the major focus of the device.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean it's basically a Nest Mini inside it, but it faces backwards, so it's not great for listening to music, but it's fine for like assistant, or if you want to play a tune every now and then. It's fine.
Now, so you slept with the Nest Hub at the side of your bed for the length, the duration of your review process. Did you happen to learn anything about your sleep that you didn't know before?
It tells me that my sleep schedule is inconsistent, which I knew, and I know that is not ideal. That's really the only recommendation it's given me so far. I'm still using it. I'm gonna keep using it, indefinitely probably. And we're going to update our review periodically with, additional thoughts. So we'll see if it gets smarter and tells me things that I didn't already know, things that go beyond common sense.
Yeah, right. Well, and Google had even mentioned like it takes, I can't remember what aspect of the analysis process this is tied to, but it takes a couple of weeks for it to get enough data in there for it to do something.
So originally they said it would take 2 weeks to start offering recommendations, but I think they changed their mind about that at some point because other documents I saw during the review process said only 1 week, and that is when I started seeing suggestions. Maybe they'll get a lot better when I hit 2 weeks, which I will do soon, maybe in a couple of days. I would not say, buy this if you want sleep tracking. Right. With the uncertainty, with how Google's going to monetize it, I don't think you should get embedded in that ecosystem until we know. And you can get a super cheap fitness band or whatever that'll track your sleep if that's all you really want.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I will say, just from a personal perspective, on the Soli radar, like I was happy, like we all knew that this was going to happen, that the Soli that was in the Pixel 4, that, I don't know how useful the Soli really was for me in the Pixel 4. Primarily, I appreciated that it was there for the face for kind of the face scanning aspect, for making that a little bit faster, and knowing when I'm reaching for my phone in a dark room so it lights up the screen. Any of the music controls and that sort of functionality, never used it. Any of the times that I did, it was very unpredictable. But do you have that kind of control with this device now that Soli is here? Is Soli dedicated entirely to sleep tracking?
So it does have some of the motion sense stuff. I tried to nail Google down on why it doesn't do as many things as the Pixel 4, because on the Pixel 4 you could go back and forth, in tracks by swiping. It doesn't do that. So you've got you've got two gestures. You've got hold up your hand to play pause, and you've got wave to snooze an alarm or a timer. So it doesn't know like left from right with the waves. It's just, you throw your hand up there and it's able to understand that, like, you've got your hand moving around in front of it. That's really as precise as it gets. And Google said that they wanted to do what they knew would be a good experience, which I think is kind of a roundabout way of saying that, like, the sensor isn't, accurate enough to really do all of those gestures they were trying to do with the Pixel 4, well. Because I think my experience with the Pixel 4 is pretty similar to yours, that it worked just enough to be kind of cool, but not enough that I would ever, rely on it.
Really lean into it. Yeah, that's really disappointing, actually, to hear that about the Nest Hub. I would have assumed that bringing a Soli radar into a Nest device, and especially that one, like, that's not a tiny device. There's I mean, I realize I didn't design this piece of hardware, so I don't actually know this, but I imagine that there's enough room inside with that size of device to have, let's say, a larger radar. And maybe that's what allows for you to mount it on the side of the bed and have it analyze your sleep. But I really, when I saw the Soli on the Pixel, that immediately came to mind. Like, these like track skip gestures and everything would be great on an assistant device, on a home a voice assistant device. That makes a lot of sense. Like, in the kitchen, I'm cooking. Sometimes I don't want to speak to the thing. I just want to wave my hand and have it skip to the next track and be done with it. I hope that they add that. I don't know that will be in their plans. I don't know that they've announced that it will be, but that seems like a big missed opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like something they could probably work out. I mean, it uses the waving for the snooze, like I said, and that's actually super good. It works really well for that, actually too well. I feel like I snooze more than I probably should, because it's like I just throw my arm up there and it's like, all right, it's quiet. I can go back to sleep. But I mean, they could just they could recognize different gestures. Like, if you're playing media and you're waving at the thing, you probably are trying to change tracks.
Yes.
So that seems like something that would be easy to implement if it's physically possible with that sensor. And I mean, and I don't know. I'm not, same deal. I didn't design this thing. I'm not the engineer who put it together. So they would know better than I would if that's possible.